The next thing I want to think about is uh talking about cleaning up the black community because this is basically a whole series. I'm really focused. I'm really focused. One thing we got to get rid of the people that do nothing for our community. Like I don't care who it is. We got to get one thing. We got to like get rid of the people who don't do nothing for the community. That's either physically or like verbally or like someone that don't have ideas. One thing is my pet peeve of people that complain but don't do nothing to solve the problem. That is my biggest pet peeve. For those people that I I think this is what really hinders the black community. You got all these people that saying, let me use an example, and it's something I just um I should like let's say like a man doesn't know how to treat a woman and all that stuff, and then it's just like you say, and you're like, oh man, these people, these niggas don't know how to act and all that stuff. You don't know how to treat a woman and all that blah 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 blah. Okay, what am I doing wrong, and how do I correct it? I'm not your fucking teacher. You don't even, you're useless. Yeah, to me, people are like that. If you're complaining and then I ask you, how do I go about fixing the problem, and you don't have an answer, you're useless. Those people I want. I don't want to say gone, but you just like like I said, you're useless. You're just like one thing, and this is what you know, as far as every job I've been on, if I fuck up, there's always an OG over there. It's like, look here, young blood, you know, this is not how you do things. Let me show you how to do things. It's like I said it before. Like I told this story I heard about Billy Gunn. Billy, if anybody is wrestling, the badass Billy Gunn from the New Outlaws. Excuse me. He saw Mark Henry and like he seen him wrestle, and Mark Henry's like green in the industry, and he seen him. He said that man is going to kill somebody in the ring. So he pulled him aside. He was like, "Look, man, what you're doing is you're gonna kill somebody." And so like, "Come with me, and I'm gonna show you some moves on how to do it safely and all that other stuff." And he did, trained him. There's a lot of people, like this is why I feel like that's why you have coaches. It's just like, um, look, what you're doing is wrong. You need to do this. Fix your jab. Show them the ropes and all that other stuff. There's usually people when you have nowhere, you don't know what you're doing. So someone that does know what they're doing, they will show you the ropes, just to make sure you do it right. Because when you do it right, it makes it better for people. Um, and like, okay, the whole thing about the girl in the trash can, the woman, because but by now I think I found out that woman is actually 30 years old, and that's a different story. Because I was telling people, it's like, okay, all right, but that's another story. Anyway, I said, did anybody talk to young boys? I don't think they've ever been talking to because you wouldn't do that bullshit. One thing, and I'm gonna mention The Wire again. In The Wire, there was an episode where Omar was taking his grandmother to church, and even though the two young dudes tried to call Slim Charles. Slim Charles wasn't answering his phone. It was a Sunday, and the thing is, all right, they have this thing called the Sunday morning truce, where you don't do no dumb shit, no game banging, and all the other stuff. You barely leave and sell dope or some shit like that. All right, it's a Sunday truce. So they did say, oh, they go to that nigga Omar. He was like, yeah, but it's Sunday though. All right, it's the Sunday truth. So they call Slim Charles. Slim Charles doesn't answer. So they call Shamrock. Shamrock was in a meeting with String and Bell and shit, and they was like, "Oh, they got the nigga Omar." He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Word." He was like, "But it's Sunday though. It's the Sunday truce and all that other shit." And then like Stringer gave him, he told him do it. Sharon go ahead, do it, and all that other stuff. So they shot at Omar, and Omar was putting his grandmama in a cab, and like Omar had to damn near. Oh well, he did. Omar shoved his grandmama in the cab, and the cab drove off, and the grandmama's crown, which is the church hat, was on the street. So they didn't get the nigga Omar, nor did they get this. Omar's pissed, and he was like, "I never think you like." And he was pissed. He was like, "Yo, I never thought them niggas would stoop so low to do that on a Sunday morning when I'm taking my grandmama out to church." Like he was pissed. And then the next thing you seen is Slim Charles, and he's berating the little young boys. He was like, on a Sunday morning, and I might put that in the I might have to put that in the description, or the comment section for those who see it and look at it. But it's a great scene from Slim Charles. So he was like, on a Sunday morning, y'all hit a nigga Omar while he's taking his grandmama to church, and you only hit the nigga. You killed an old lady crown. He said, y'all don't even know what a cutter lady is. Obviously you don't, because you did. Y'all wouldn't have done this bullshit. And even before then, it was like they was trying to hit these kids up and all that other shit. And the older cats was chatting. It was like the younger dudes was like, "Why you do that? Why don't I just jump up?" He was like, sometimes looked at. He's like, "Fool." And the old people, they they spit game to you, and you go, "Nigga, you put your driving away, you end up driving getting killed and all that other stuff, and you need to do it this way, this way." Like, not only you like telling them what not to do, you tell them a better option. Now, if you done seen that part, the dude, the youngin, motherfucker, he was like, "Oh, if I don't get him, I don't get him." And all this shit fucked up their plan. And then like Cuddy and Slim Charles was like, "And these niggas are saying wait for a fucking phone call and all that shit." They had to like dip out and all that shit. And the driver got killed, and the nigga that was beside him got killed too because of the foolishness. Instead of just following the plan, they got hit. So a lot of this is just and like this is just me. One of the things is you got to get rid of these people that don't do nothing and all they do is complain. I hate those people because they do nothing to solve the problem. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves because if I'm doing something wrong and you see me doing something wrong, and if I ask you, what do I do right? And you don't have an answer, you're fucking useless to me. It's like, and like a lot of people are like that. A lot of people, and a lot of people just say shit. And this is another part of that because a lot of people just say shit. They just hear. Okay, this is another one. We all know rape is bad. We all know rape is bad. So I look at it weird when you say you should tell your boys not to rape people if that's not something we don't tell people all the time. And this is what I try to explain to women. The first thing you learn is consent. Before you learn to walk, actually like probably around the time the first things you learn is to walk, talk, and consent. The first, especially when you learn to talk, is consent. So when you like learn to talk and you really want something, you ask your mother, "Mother, may I do this? Yes or no?" And you learn your consent and you learn permission because um because not you're gonna be walking around doing God knows what. My my niece would like try to answer, every time she would see me answer the door when someone knocked. She would see me answer the door, and now she is a youngin. So when I'm like not near the door, she would run to the door, and I had to stop her. Go, "Ah, ah, 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 you're not allowed to." And then she was like, "Why not?" And I had to explain it. You're not allowed to touch the door because you don't know who's behind that door. If someone were to take you, and it's like, but let them, because I don't want you to get kidnapped. For your safety, I have to. If I'm here, I have to protect you. For your safety, I do not want you answering the door. When you hear someone knock on the door, you go get it an adult. If I'm not here, well, if I'm not here, you find another adult to get there. Now, I'm not leaving no kid in the house by herself, so she's not gonna be in the house by herself. But until like I feel like you can answer the door without, you know, me having to worry about you, we gonna get to that point. But now that's protecting and that's explaining why. Like, so you don't think these kids like you learn as I'm saying, you're learning consent. You may I do this, may I do that. Now some people they may get away with more stuff and all that other stuff because the way how you grow up, maybe spoiled child. But the first thing you know is you respect, especially men. The first thing I'm pretty sure every man is known to is how to respect a woman. My grandmother, I had to learn that from my grandmother. I have sisters. It's like one thing I had to learn is how to talk to women in respect. So yes, I know not everybody grows up like me, but at some point, someone had to teach you respect. And that's all I'm saying. Like from a base point, you had to at least learn respect from someone. So when these people rape, I think some of them. Cause I don't want to be in their head, but I know some of them know what they're doing is wrong. Even when they like half of those people when they like do it, testosterone's a motherfucker. And study has shown that when your testosterone is running, you don't think as much. Like you're not really thinking straight. There was a study show where people their testosterone was really really high and it was like really horny and all that other stuff, and they felt this test. But when they wasn't horny and their testosterone wasn't like bubbling and all that stuff, they ended up passing the test. They had a calmer mind. It was like they was able to think better and all that stuff. So testosterone really fucks up with your head. That's why a lot of dudes was like when they know they about to get something, their testosterone just rises and all that other stuff, and they're like sharks in the water. It's really like sharks in the water. You see blood, you go for the kill and all that other stuff. You're not really thinking straight. You're just thinking about getting that pussy, and it's just like your one track mind is just like it gets very narrow. So to me, it's just like um when I see people like that, they like blame men or society. Like society is, it was just like most of the people, most of the time. Yeah, I tell people all the time. Most of the times when dudes rape women, they're by themselves. They're by, they are by themselves. Like it's like some of these people, especially like that's how you know when you know they're what they're doing is wrong. They're doing it by themselves because there's usually someone talking you out of it or telling you to stop. And no, don't do that. Because and this is a lot of things I tell women is like because they was like, oh, do you? Because for some reason women think like we just hang around rapists and murderers and killers and all that other stuff, and it's just that's why this whole accountability. You need to take accountability for the black men who rape murder. I said, whoa, and this is what we tell. This was mentioned. First of all, nobody in my circle rapes, murders, or kills people. All right, I mean, it's like if we knew that, he wouldn't be hanging around us. Like we supposed to be hanging around fucking rapists and some shit like that. Like nigga, and this is what I said. Is like I feel you need to go at. That's why I always say you need to go after the individual and not like the whole group. You need to go after him. He did that. He needs to be punished, and I will make sure he get punished. Like if I find out someone might do like someone has done some foul shit like that, like he's not my one, he's not my friend. I'm pretty sure he's going to the authorities. I plenty of times like yesterday and today I had to check a couple people with their language. It was like because it's just like don't say that. You know, it's not like oh don't do that about our black. It's just one of those things where you look at it, it's like they say some dumb shit. It's like don't say that. Don't say that out in public. And they go, well, what if it? Don't say it out in public for the sake of God. And I'm telling you, and everybody else is telling you, and, you know, some people, some dudes are hard headed. I will understand. I will give you that. Some dudes are just fucking hard headed. But sometimes you got to tell them, don't say that. Why? And I'm telling them why. It doesn't sound right. You're going to get chastised, and you're not going to be looking good. So, in conclusion, what am I saying? If you're going to tell me and this goes for anybody, not just men, not just women, but this goes to everybody. If you're going to tell me I'm doing something wrong, you should at least have the idea of how to do something right and then correct it then and there. because if you don't, you might end up, you know, you might end up doing it again in the long run, and then nothing gets solved. You correct it then and there, and you teach them then and there. That way, they won't fucking do that dumb shit. I anytime when I tell people, and I know you're doing it wrong, and they ask you how to do it, and I'm like, if I'm knowledgeable, I will tell them how you do it right. And then even then, it's just like I don't think is even if I'm not sure, I go, I don't think you're supposed to do it like that. What does the instructions say? Like I'm going to look for information just so I can give you it then and there. What does the instructions say? Maybe we should get somebody that's knowledgeable about this and ask them. That's a right there. Pin point blank simple. Even if I don't know, I'm trying to find answers so we can correct it then and there. But you just hit me with the I don't know, you're useless. And a lot of people do that and all that other stuff. And then now, if they're and that's mostly it. All right, let's fix each other up. Let's just fix each other up because I don't want us looking bad out here. Till then, my name is Osino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.